Hey friends, thank you for being here. Feel free to say hi. I am here. I can hear you, see you, all the above. Been working on some stuff around the studio today, getting some lighting worked on in the back of the shop and new lighting ordered and whatnot. So So I'm working over here right now on putting together a roll up of these canes. These different canes are all, I'll bring them over so you can see better. This is my aluminum groovy corrugated plate. It's got grooves on it. And I'm taking the best versions of these stiff canes that I'm pulling out of the drawer here from a long time ago and using them as a roll up, which I will stretch out and make into what's called supios. And then I will use that to make individual cups out of them. So this is for color sections of other pieces, but you'll see how it's going to start working out because the pattern will start twisting along the way that it should as I go through this part of the process. So I found all these stiff canes down in my drawer over there. So we're going to use them, get them out of the drawer and make something out of them. If I can answer any questions for anybody, please just shout them out. I have, oh, that's not good. All right. Okay, so one is going to be more blue, one is going to be more purple. We'll do one with like dashes of blue. Like there's a set of 3. And then a batch of 2. I'll keep everything evenly spaced so that the only breakup you'll see is of the color pattern being broken up, not the clear separating everything. There's another 3. There's another 2. There's another 3. Come on. Okay, so this is about as big of a roll-up as I want it to be, because that's a lot of glass to roll up there and a long ways to stretch this color out if I roll it up on too much. But I want it to be very tight, so that'll be good. I've got 3 blue, 2 perp, 3 blue, 2 perp, 3 blue, 2 perp, 3 blue, 2 perp, which will roll up right next to the 3 blue. So we should be good with that. follow me over here. I'm going to put this in my oven and let it bring up to temperature about 20 minutes. It'll be all the way up to temperature. Now, I'll go back and we'll figure out our next roll up. Let's do purple mostly. It's all my purple. And let's add some gold into it. I'll be right back with that. Just selecting some skinnies that I think will go along with the rest of the roll up. Okay. So we're going to do something like 4 or 5. I like 5 more than 4. And then 1, maybe 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 2. 1. And 2. Oop, there's a straggler, and 5, and let's get another. Wow. All the rest of the golds that I have are either too fat or too skinny to go along with this. So I'm going to go on the error on the larger side. See that? Oh, it should work. There we go. I think that looks better, whereas that happens to be the largest, and it's in the middle of the roll-up, so that's good. Okay. You know what I didn't do was take a measurement. Let's do that real quick. This is called a pie divider. It divides your measurement by pi. So if my bubble is that big or so, then the roll-up will be that big. So I'm going to measure that in reverse. I'll measure my roll-up and decide how big my bubble needs to be. So over here in my oven, it's going to measure up from one cane all the way to the other cane real carefully. And then I'm going to take off just, nope, I'm going to add to it just a little bit. Tighten it up. And check again. Got it. Leave it there. Tighten up my calipers. And let that keep heating up. This will be my, hey, Dignified Demon. Sorry, I'm just catching up with you. Good, how are you? Hope you're doing well today. I'm putting together a few pieces made from the same cane pattern. I need to make the cane patterns first. So that's kind of what I'm over here doing. Let's come back over here to 6. Right on there. There we are. Hello. So let's put together another roll-up. I have a roll-up here. I'm going to move that over a bit. That'll be the next one that I put on the plate. Just separate it like that, and then we'll get into some blue. These are nice blues. One, two. Decent blue, decent blue. A little weirdness there. All right. And now we use some golds to go along with those. All right. Some shrapnel around here just making me want to catch it. Okay. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It sounds like it's lining up the way it should already. Take one out of there. We'll go every other. Boom. Now we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's double it up. Boom. 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 And that's how it just wants to be. Let's swap that out. I like that one more. All right, that's another roll up. Ready to go. Make some supios. Now I've really gotten a chance to use up this cane. I'm happy. I say we do it. So I've got my measurement over here on the table. I've got my tools ready over there. I got my oven heating up. It will be ready by the time I'm ready for it. System check everything here. Make sure you guys aren't going to get screwed out of your view. There's a good one. There's a good one-ish. Let's fix that. Boom. Let's go back there. We got that in check. I have not warmed up yet, so I'm not taking off my stupid hat, no matter what you guys say. So I'm holding it up as the bubble blows out, and that gets the bubble right into the tip because the glass was swishing back towards the pipe at the same time that the bubble was blowing out. So I really got the bubble all the way into the tip, which is very important for this process because I have the thickness. Let me maybe even show you over here. I got the thickness on the side of the bubble, not on the tip of the bubble. The far end. The tip of the bubble is blown out nice and thin. I spent a lot of time over at Phil Valencia's house from Valencia Glass yesterday, getting him set up with his new big screen TVs all around his shop and a couple of new cameras, stuff like that. So I'm back in my shop today and totally inspired to start spending money on new stuff. Just thinking about the right ways to do it. So while I'm here, I'll show you. I've got my measurement. That's about how much glass I need to make it all the way around. I'm good. I'll be able to easily gather that. Give this a little heat on the outside surface. Take some of that stress out of there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a gather out of the furnace, strip it off on the table, measure it, and then go right over to the oven and roll up those canes that are preheating in there. They're at 950 degrees, so we're good. They'll be just fine for sticking to this. Letting the glass run off, so I get a nice, what's called a strip gather. Gives me a much more manageable gather to see what I'm working with. Just the right size, we're good. All right, let's go over here. Boom. Now, see how they rolled up on the surface. I'm going to go into the heat lightly, introducing it to the heat so I don't stress out the canes too much. If I do stress them out, what I mean is I'm shocking them with the heat. If I were to shock them too much too soon, they could easily break off. Going to continue to lay them down on the surface. All they have to do is touch and then they're stuck for good. So the ones that are stuck are the ones that are touching already. Oh, they're nice. I don't need to even adjust anything. I think I'm good to go on this. Sometimes you get it right on the first try and it makes you really happy. Let's move my table up here. There we go. So I'm going to spend some time on this table now, just rolling it out back and forth, laying these canes down on the surface, turning real smooth, make sure everything has a good contact, and now back and forth into the heat is going to be building up the temperature throughout the whole body of the piece, including those much cooler canes on the outside. Through this process, I'm going to be making it into a long tube that's blown all the way through the end. And then I'm going to start sectioning it off into little parts that will all individually be used as a piece of their own later on. And where I can pick it up, use the same color pattern, blow it out, and make something else out of it. This is a nice way to make a series of cups or even a goblet. You know, even if it's one goblet with multiple cane parts all over it or color patterns all throughout it, you want to make the sections ahead of time off of the one main hump, essentially. For this series, I really want to go super tight with my spin. So So pretty soon, once I start feeling that this is evenly heating up to the point where I can stay in one spot on the table and spin it and get a nice tight spiral out of the whole thing. See how that's starting to heat, it's starting to spin on its own. You may see just the heat that I'm building into it is causing it to spin. That's good. There we go. Maybe you can see how tightly that got spun. We're going to go more, and we're going to be blowing it out and stretching it and spinning it even more just to keep it as tight as we can. And then I'm doing this because next time I pick it up, I'm going to be picking it up, and as I blow it out, I'm going to be spinning it even tighter. Come on over to the bench. Now I'm going to get down here and hold that steady. We're going to straighten all this out on the marver again, or on the table. Cool this, and then grab it and spin even tighter so everything spins real nice and tight and even together. Okay? I'm going to quench it in the water bucket behind me here to freeze that tip that's going to stay nice and chilly down there. I'm going to build up heat further into the piece, further higher up into the bubble, I mean, so that the whole thing spins nice and tight together. Before I do that, I'm going to even out the heat on the table by just rolling and creating a nice skin on the whole thing that's centered with my blowpipe. Let me hook up my blow hose too. It's a good idea to be able to throw some air pressure into it while you're doing this move. Okay, see how tightly that's twisted now? Now I'm not going to worry about twisting it anymore. I'm just going to work it out, cooling everything real evenly, heating it evenly, excuse me, and then stretching it a bit, making more of a long cylinder out of it with this nice spin in there. It's going to look very nice once I section it off and we can retwist them another day. Make them even tighter. All right, so while I was doing that, I was inflating the bubble a little bit to try to keep some pressure pushing out against the jacks while I was constricting it in, and that helps keep a nice thin wall thickness while I'm working with it. Now I'm just scoring by pushing against the jack line with my shears. I'm scoring that into the hot glass there. It makes it real easy to come off. Oh, as long as you hit it, geez. Okay, now I have an open hole through there that I don't need to have my blow hose hooked up for. So I'll take that off, go on back to the bench, excuse me, to the heat. Hey, how are you? Thank you for being here. It's a pretty day in the hot shop. Freezing day outside. I'm right next to DC, so we're at about a high of I think 18 today, which is no good for us. But I realize it's not that bad for the rest of the country. And or Canada. In Georgia? Yeah, but you're feeling the same stuff we are. There's the first section of the tube. It's kind of like a bell shape. What's going to happen is next time I pick this up, I'm going to be picking it up from this end with a blowpipe that has a little bit of clear glass on the end. Stick it on there and I'll have a bubble that I can seal off and blow out and gather more glass on and all kinds of stuff. So that's what this is all about. Now I'm going to break it off, put it in the oven, then open it here again, constrict it down again, and keep sectioning it off as I go. And then I'll make a piece out of the fun stuff that's up here at the end of the bubble that's not made of a supio. And then we'll do another roll up. Yeah. Snow is working its way out around here. It's just so freezing cold. The roads are always at peril. Complete peril all the time. Cinching this down a little tighter, you might see. Making it just the right shape for me to pick it up and easily work with it next time without having to misshape it too much. Now I'll just sink that in, maybe even go inside and cool the inside of that break, or the soon-to-be break. Then I'll go over to the oven. I'm going to set it down in the back of the oven and tap right here nice and hard. It's going to vibrate down, break off at the weakest part, / the only part that's right there. Then I'll be right back to the heat. Oh wow, you're really getting it. Yeah, we just our county tends to over exaggerate when it comes to the threat of snow within the next week. Suddenly you'll start getting all kinds of warnings, but it's very rarely real in its threat. But sorry to hear that what's going on down there. That sounds pretty rough. Yeah, it sounds like the right idea. Stay inside. Might as well. Sounds like you might have to worry about those pipes and all that. The whole infrastructure around you not being ready for it. Okay. See, I'm just curling this lip inward just the tiniest bit. Gives me a little bit better line up for attaching the next blowpipe to it. Yeah, there was a time, it was probably 10 or 15 years ago, I was living up north in Pennsylvania where my parents were down here, and they had, in the middle of winter, they had a power outage for about 5 days. It, it was full of snow around, but it wasn't the brutally cold kind, like 0 to 10 degree freezing, but they ended up getting out of there and going to stay with some family, but they were really worried about their house for a while. Yeah. Their house is a little too big for them anyways, so I think they were happy to get out, go to an aunt's house. Plus, they can always plan on me coming to fix their stuff when it breaks down eventually anyways, so. That's what adult sons are for. Yeah, exactly. Cheap future labor. I have 2 girls, and they love coming into the studio here with me, but man, when it comes down to throwing down and getting stuff done, they are happy to root me on. They love their hot chocolate while Dad works. Yeah. There's a thing to be said about work ethic, and there's a thing to be said about you. It just got to be done. You got to get it. You got to get out of the house somehow, some way. So somebody's gonna have to shovel that shit. Somebody's got to clean off the cars. At least I feel that way. So I've worked this heat all the way back into the moil of the glass now. So I'm getting this last section ready to start making something out of instead of just sectioning off and putting away. I make a little piece out of it, maybe a little vase or something. See, you just spend so much time in there and the whole thing gets nice and hot. Tweak it out, it's sealed off, there we go. I'm doing this because, remember what I was telling you about super twisting this? I'm ready to practice that. I'm gonna super chill the bottom in the water. Hook up my blow hose so I can have a little bit of air pressure inside while I do this. Okay, so now we're super tightly twisted. I can start shaping it, making a piece out of it. Okay, there's my super tightly twisted purple. What is it? Purple? No, purple and blue. Let me get my block out. Really pack this down once I get it hot. These lines are going to be nice and thin. Give me a second to understand. You're talking about the pipe. Oh, the blow pipe that I use is made of a high carbon steel that's made to not transfer the heat too well. If it was copper, it would just transfer right through. Okay. Still thickening this bubble by pushing really hard on the whole thing evenly and packing it down to be smaller. It's making it thicker. So I'll have a thicker bubble with a nice tight spiral to it that I can gather on and make larger once I get more glass. Okay. Now I have a chance to let it cool for a bit. As it cools, you'll see the colors start to show up more. I actually can't zoom in anymore to be able to show you the detail any better, but it is there. I think what I'd really like to make out of this is like a little salad bowl. So I really don't need much glass. See how the color's starting to show up better now? do a lot of a strip gather here. I'm letting a lot of it run off. So I have what I have coming out of the furnace. Now I'm going to give it a chance to strip off and run down onto the table. I'll let it cast off of there. And now I have a much more manageable amount to work with. I'll even strip off the last bit and go right back into the heat. Start soaking in the heat into my color pattern. Now when I get back, I'll be able to use the block again and block and heat and block and blow. All the normal stuff now that I've got all the mass to the piece that I need. Get my newspaper ready. If I soak my paper, I'll have it ready to go when I'm ready to touch on this and really inflate the bubble out. You might see the thick bubble staying kind of floating inside the mass that I have here. All right, it's time. I'm